what does best practice resource management look like? And these are the questions that we get asked most commonly. So how do I ensure I've got the right person when I need them? How do I ensure the quality of delivery by associates? And what is the best way to manage associate pools and resource planning? And quite often those questions come to us from organisations where there is a core band of known associates, people who are tried and trusted, but moving away from that, scaling up without turning themselves into an interim recruitment agency can be quite challenging. So at New Minds, when we work with firms to build resourcing functions, we look at 5 key areas. The first of those is demand forecasting. And I would say the more that you can do to align your resource planning with your sales forecasting, the better. So in the same way that you would have a weighted pipeline for sales, you can have a weighted prediction of required resources. Now, if we sell the projects that we anticipate over the next quarter, we will need X number of people at these grades with these capabilities in these industry sectors. Now, if we could then go first to our permanent team, what gaps does that leave that we would need to fill with associates? If that means that we need to fill X number of roles with associates, we assume, who do we know already? Will they be available? I would say that for every role you want to use an associate for, within your pool, you need to have more. You need to multiply by at least 3, probably 5, to have a pool large enough that you will have somebody available when you need them. And you need to keep refreshing this. The second thing we look at is attraction and selection. This is about building processes that enable you to make effective decisions about the capability of untested individuals. So people you haven't worked with previously, and you need assessment exercises that you trust to identify high quality performance. And I'd say that these need to be deployable both proactively and reactively, by which I mean, if you know in advance you need a bigger pool of individuals at a certain grade or in a certain area of capability, then proactively prepare and start to build that pool. Run regular assessments and effectively pre-certify those people that you'd want to use, so that then you've got them and you can deploy them quickly when you need them. Equally, client requirements come unexpectedly, and that's often where it can go wrong. So you need to have the process in place so that you can implement it at pace and not take shortcuts and compromise on quality because of the time pressure. So plan how you're going to do that rather than sort of wing it at the last minute. We work with one firm where we've developed a batch of case study exercises, and effectively what that means is that they can put people through the right one at the drop of a hat, and they know where the quality bar has been set, so they're not having to make rushed decisions. The third is induction. This means having consistent onboarding processes, and that's where you get the quality of delivery. So setting time aside at the outset rather than throwing people in at the deep end. I would say this means probably not meeting your new associate in a coffee shop 30 minutes before they go on site, but actually making sure they're well prepared and make a great impression with the client. I have seen great examples of some virtual onboarding processes. So firms that have put in place mandatory online processes, giving associates access to core materials about the firm, tools, ways of working. If you don't do this already, then Method Grid is a really very good tool for doing this. There will be lots of others, but it's the one that we like. And linked to this, I would say, is making sure that the associate knows and you have documented what you've actually sold, what the client is expecting, and what you expect of the associate, which sounds really very basic, but actually we see this being the source of problems time and time again. So it's worth getting right up front. The fourth pillar is relationship management. And by that, I mean regular planned communications with your associates. If they're not working with you, it's about maintaining the relationship and keeping the data about them accurate and fresh. And if you do this, you will be able to build a loyalty in that network. You'll be able to use it as a source of referrals. And then the other part is when they're on assignment, how do you manage them? Do you make them feel part of something? Do you schedule regular catch-ups, seek their feedback, capture feedback on their performance? All of those are very important. And then the Holy Grail to manage all of this is a great system. And by that I mean a searchable database in which you can store and categorize all your associate data. So CVs, work preferences, previous communications, all these things that need to be GDPR compliant. And the system should then also enable you to align supply and demand. So it creates that link between a sales pipeline and resourcing, and you have a consistent process for capturing requirements, providing visibility of resourcing options. And within that, I would include permanent staff as well, so that you're making that whole resourcing decision together.